Guys must have been gassed at the end there, trying to hold them on so many, basically shutting them out of touchdowns until that fourth quarter. Um, what do you feel the whole performance was today for you guys?
I mean, specifically defensively, unacceptable. Got to stop the run, first and foremost. Too many free access, too many yards. 200 yards on the ground is unacceptable in our room. I don't care how many times we hold them to field goals, how many times we, could get them to not score a touchdown. Like that, that just puts us behind the eight ball as a whole team. We got to play complementary football better between special teams, offense, defense. We can't turn the ball over. We can't let them drive down and then be able to kick the field goal because the field position, all of that stuff matters. So it definitely was a team effort. That's a good team they got over there. I mean, we played them 3 years in a row. We knew what they were bringing into town. They got great players. They get better every year. I know second year with this coach, they felt a little bit more confident than they did last year. So, yeah, I mean, that was a good team. Credits to them. But, yeah, it was unacceptable from the team. But good thing is it's week 2. And like you guys know, it's rare you go undefeated in this league. So I'm happy to just get that get that out the way now while it's still early.
Well, what was the difference? You knew that Robinson, you knew Algiers were both good runners, but what did they do specifically that you guys couldn't stop?
Execute. We had good calls. I mean, nothing they did that we haven't seen before. A lot of the runs they did last year, it just was about execution. All 11, one guy here, one guy there, one guy this drive, one guy that drive. It's just we were all passing the baton in terms of messing up one play, and they were just capitalizing on all of our mistakes. So. Like I said, credits to them for being able to just execute their plan better than ours.
Josh, the first two runs, I mean, right out of the gate,
Yep.
25-17. What went wrong with them?
Like I said, execution. We called certain coverage, certain scheme. We got to get guys moving and playing their gaps the right way. Then we got to swarm. We know kind of player Bijan is. He's getting better every year. Told him that after the game, man. He's one of those guys where you can't afford to have a guy not get to his gap, or you can't afford for the safety not to come down and fill that hole as fast as possible. So yeah, I mean, I don't know specifically what happened on those 2 plays, but I know we didn't execute because it never looks like that.
Josh, what is the mentality of a defense when the offense is struggling the way it was at times today?
We don't worry about the offense. At the end of the day, we got a defense where we got guys that can change football game and put our offense in the best position. If we don't give up no points, they can't win a football game. So it doesn't really matter what the offense does. I think when we have this home field advantage, we get the crowd, we get the noise. We got to play perfect on defense. We can't afford to give our offense and our young quarterback drives where they got to start at the 20 because they just got a field goal and they was able to kick a kickoff and stop us. Like we got to be able to create turnovers. Win the field position battle, help out however we can. And defense, we didn't do that today.
Josh, I know it's still fresh, but what's the biggest lesson that this team can take from this loss?
That nothing in this league is given. Everything you want, you got to earn and you got to take. I tell the guys that all the time, man. We got to be greedy. Just because we can go out last week and throw up a stinker for 3 quarters and then pull it out at the end, don't mean that's gonna happen every week. This is a league where they get paid just as much as we do, and if we're not on our stuff, or if we're not on our P's and Q's, it can end up just like that, and we can come back in here going 0-1 instead of 1-0. So, I mean, I think the message is just attack every day, every rep, every moment, like it's our last. And if we do that with the kind of guys we got in this room and the kind of coaches, there's no reason we shouldn't win every game. But whatever we did out there, that was unacceptable. The fans, the home opener, didn't deserve that. We'll be better next week for sure. But, yeah, I mean, that's just one we got to look ourselves in the mirror, move on, and shake back. Appreciate you guys.
Obviously, a lot of yards allowed to the run. Was it just Bijan kind of making plays, or was it the push up front?
I mean, Bijan is a very good playmaker, but, as a defense, we just got to have our assignment, get our blocks and make plays and set edges.
It's a couple really good plays to end drives and force them to kick field goals. How was the momentum back and forth in that game?
The momentum was going back and forth between the whole game. Honestly, as a defense, I felt like we stepped up, and forced a lot of 3 points instead of touchdowns. And but still some things that we need to clean up, in the run game, and getting our blocks, setting the edges, and playing the cutback. and just making tackles.
How much just a bigger role for you? How much do you kind of thrive in that environment?
Just embracing every role that that they throw at me. Just trying to do my job at the highest level. We get coached very well throughout the week, and honestly, just applying the technique and skill, on Sundays, when it's time to execute.
Can you learn more from this game than week one?
Of course. There's a lot of opportunities out there, on my end, on the defensive end as well. And, we just got to execute and, just play better, especially at home. So,
Appreciate it.
What
Thank you.
else did you see in terms of their run game? That nothing surprised you that both those guys are going to be great, especially Bijan. But where did you guys kind of fail in giving up that yardage?
we just got to set edges, play cutback, and just tackle, at the end of the day. So, they had two good running backs, that we knew going into the week, going into this game, that we had to tackle and be physical with. And, play cutback, set edges. And, that we are very aware that they had a very good O-line coach, an offensive scheme when it comes to running the ball. And, honestly, we just got to execute better, as a defense, set edges, play cutback, and get off blocks and make tackles.
It's still a thing, man. We were not excluded from.
You already did, but can you just walk us through your sack that you had?
Honestly, it was just the bank was loud, of course, so the pressure's coming. Everybody somewhat got a little piece, and I was just the cleanup guy. Grave got there for the pressure, and I just made the play.
Coach Flores told us on Thursday that when he had looked back at last week, he realized you didn't play as much as he thought you did. Was that a conversation he had with you as well, that he had wanted to play you more last week?
I mean, not really. I was just, if my number's called, my job is to execute, and play what we are called on defense. And honestly, just any, snaps and opportunity I get, I just try to go out there and do my job to the fullest.
Thanks, Dennis.
Appreciate you guys.
Ain't nobody losing confidence, I can promise you that. And I think everybody in this locker room is excited just to go back to work. And that's what I love about this team. I haven't been around very long, but you could feel it from the moment I got here that everybody knows that you have to grind, you have to work, you have to build every single day, and you can't not take advantage of those moments.
And I don't know if you already dealt with this, but aside from the injuries up front, what prevented you guys from getting into a rhythm and getting back into one?
Yeah, I think it's just one thing here, one thing there. Again, you got to go look at the tape because it's hard to say, you're so focused on your individual thing. But, I think everyone on the offensive side could raise their hand if they could have done something better, or it was one play here, one play there. And again, that's why it's the greatest team game there is, because you have to have 11 guys on the same page on every single play to have success. And so, yeah, it'll be a great learning moment for us. Obviously, losses stink. But if you use it the right way and you learn from it individually as a group, and you come back, you can really gain a lot of momentum from that.
Did you think you were going to turn the tide when you had that big third down reception and you just thought maybe this is our chance to now turn it?
Yeah, I think you're always looking for that on offense, defense, really as a team. You're always looking for a big play or a big first down to get some momentum going. I think that's why this game is so great too, is because you can always look to one or two plays of, if we go score right there, it might change everything. Obviously we didn't, and that kind of stopped the momentum a little bit. So I think you can always go look. I know individually I can go look at a couple plays like, man, I wish I would have done this a little bit better, because that might have been that play to change momentum. So that's why this game's so great and why it's so frustrating, but a great opportunity to go back to work tomorrow.
And see what we can do better to clean that up. Way too many, by our standards, that's way too many rushing yards.
Some good stops there. Obviously, held them to no touchdowns until the very end.
Yeah.
What can you kind of draw on from there, I guess?
No matter the situation, we have to go out there and, play our standard of ball, regardless of where they are. So, I think that is good that we held it to some field goals, but at the same time, if we play the way that, we want to and should, then maybe that helps everything that much more. Maybe they don't get a couple field goals and we're in a better position. So,
Eric, you're not going to run game. Everyone's talking about execution.
Yeah.
It's coming down to stopping,
Yeah.
Bijan and Algiers. What did you see out there?
From my point of view, it's a matter of making proper reads and decisions. Like you said, everybody executing, making sure everybody's on the same page, because that's what defense is. We got to be on the same page, people in the right spots. It's something that we talked about, just trusting your brother, trusting yourself, and playing together.
Because even though defense played really well, you guys pride yourself on not letting them make any
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So our standard is much higher than what we did today. So we're gonna check the tape and clean it up.
What can a loss like this early do to help a team?
It shows us not to take things for granted. You know, don't take stuff sweet, and make sure each and every game that we're putting our all out there, and you know, just getting stops when we need to, making plays when we need to, when they're there, and making them and playing together.
You heard
Yeah.
last week about how the positivity kind of stayed on the sideline despite
Yeah.
the circumstances. Did you find that was the case again this week, even as that fourth quarter comeback?
Yeah, I think regardless of the situation, you know, we're always gonna, you know, stick together, be positive, know that it's always, you know, one play away, one play. Defensively, we can make a big stop. Offensively, teams, you know, we're gotta have that one play mindset. You know, go do your best on this one play and do that over and over again, and you know, it'll stack up for everybody.
What was it like seeing Theo scoop up that ball you knocked loose?
Yeah, that was great. I'm glad he did. I went to go block for him, but I think he's only gonna get like 10 yards or so. But hey, this is a takeaway.